achievement. Thank you. And I have to say, you have to get out there and tell other people to join because we're just this far behind San Francisco. And I think we'll knock them off in a week. So that's really good. We'll be number 9 then.
That's what the priority is, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's no vanity metrics. It's all about the pizza. So look, tonight we have a really special event. As I said, it's part of the Spark Festival in Sydney. We have 2 thoroughly excellent speakers first who will run us through the story of AbilityMate, the 2 Mels, Mel Fuller and Mel Tran. We'll get to their talk in a minute. And then after they've delivered their talk, we'll have about a 10-minute break because the bathroom is here. You can go get another drink or whatever. And during that time, we'll set up a panel session so that we can go through that. But before we go to the main event with the speech, I'd just like to say a couple of words about both our sponsors and the event that we're part of this week. We're part of the Spark Festival Sydney, which is a celebration of Australian startups. It's a really amazing thing that's happened in the last 3 to 4 years. My startup started 5 years ago. We're one of these kind of startups in search of that magic hockey stick moment. But I can tell you 5 years ago, there wasn't a lot of interest in startups in Sydney. Now, of course, it's a really big deal. And we have events like this, and that's just fabulous in my view. So this is a celebration of Australian startups. It supported Jobs for New South Wales and the City of Sydney, so thank you to those folks for helping provide support for this event. And Twitter, if you do want to tweet today, please do. Please promote a #SydDT for the Design Thinking Meetup and #SparkFest for the overall festival. So that'd be great. And then I guess one more thing to say, there is actually a website for the Spark Festival. It's a little hard to read there. We're running October 22nd to October 30th. Sparkfestival.co is the actual website, and a celebration of startups. And as I said, the sponsors are Jobs for New South Wales and the City of Sydney. So great to see the government getting behind innovation startups generally. That's really good to see.
And the closing drinks are at a pop-up bar in Martin Place right now. So when we finish, we'll go up to other free drinks in Martin Place.
Very good point. So free drinks again later up in Martin Place. So look, now we get to the exciting bit. So I'm really, really delighted to have the 2 Mels here to tell us their story of AbilityMate and a for-purpose startup. For those of you who don't know, for-purpose really is just a description of a kind of activity where the primary motivation is not just to make money. The primary motivation is to serve a purpose in society, to make people's lives better in very meaningful ways. And I can't think of a better thing than AbilityMate to meet that criterion. So over to you. Thank you for presenting.
Thank you very much, Kingsley. So, Mel, should I kick it off?
Yes.
All right. So I'm Mel Fuller. We'll make it really easy for you guys to remember our names. But I'm the co-founder of AbilityMate, and what AbilityMate is a social enterprise or a for-purpose company that customizes assistive devices with people who have disabilities. So we're going to tell you a story about how we came to fruition and how design thinking and human-centered design is embedded in everything we do. And it's not really a conscious decision, it's just how we roll. Literally, right, Mel? So my background is in design and manufacturing. I worked in advertising, producing advertising graphics for high-end retail companies and fragrance companies. And I left school at age 16, and I got a job sweeping the floors. And I left that job as a general manager 12 years ago, producing graphics to convince people to buy stuff they don't need or could afford. So I left that job to look for something a little bit more purposeful. And I stumbled across a technology called 3D printing. And it really became my tool for change, to redeem 12 years of damage I created. I travelled around Australia with a 3D printer I purchased, teaching kids how to 3D print things that could have an environmental and social impact. Then I went to America to study and to party with the maker movement. It's a movement that is crossing all borders, and it's just bringing innovation in a grassroots way. I'm sure you guys are all aware of it. I got back from America and I started a makerspace. And it's another story, I'm not going to get into it, but the members of the makerspace were looking for stuff to make. Something a bit more meaningful, that had a little bit more depth than Yoda heads and 3D selfies of their own heads. And that's where I met my co-founder, Johan, who unfortunately couldn't be here tonight. And yeah, so that's just a little bit about me. Then we've got Mel Tran.
Yeah, so I am a UX designer at AbilityMate. Before I started, I basically started off in this field when I started doing the Jim Edinburgh Award, and I ended up doing my bronze, silver, and gold, and am now the first person in the world with a physical disability to achieve this award. I started off, I've always known I wanted to be in the creative industry because I suck terribly at maths. And I'm literally the only one in my family that has a creative side, and I started off in writing and I wanted to be an author when I first started. But then as I started more writing, I realized that I couldn't get bored of it because all I do is sit at the computer all day and just write fictional stuff and I got bored of it. So then I eventually got into design, and now I'm studying digital media design at uni, and I'm specialising in user experience. I guess the reason why I decided to specialise in UX is because I've got the lived experience. I know the challenges and barriers are faced by people who have a disability. So I wanted to make a change. And the only way to change that is to be able to learn my skills in design and learn how to be a person that changes, you know. So yeah, I'm doing design, and I first met Mel and Johan at another tech startup meetup. When I initially pitched an idea that was very similar to what these guys are doing. And I was introduced to these guys and we were like, wait a minute, we have quite similar things, so we might as well just start working together. And 2 weeks later, Mel and Johan rocked up at my uni, and we had an hour or two session, and after that, I ended up working with them. So here I am. And yeah.
How's it been for you, Mel?
It's pretty funny. Working with a bunch of crazy people that it's pretty amazing, I think, because we have our crazy moments where, I don't know, we can be a bit childish at times, but we're all crazy, and then we have that work moments where everyone's all serious. It's just good.
So I'm just going to tell you a little story about a product that was co-created by Kim, who's at the front here. He's filming. So back to the makerspace. So Kim actually introduced Johan and I, and so Johan is like an entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur, been in tech startup world, electronic engineer, did a master's in artificial intelligence, like major self-confessed geek, quit it all to find something more purposeful and started working as a disability carer, support worker at Cerebral Palsy Alliance. And very quickly started to realize that the price, the wait times, and the low customization of assistive devices was a big problem that people were experiencing. And his inner entrepreneur, forced him to want to do something about that. I had members who wanted to make stuff and the equipment, and we just weren't producing anything good. So we got together, thanks to Kim, and we met, should probably show it, Marusha. Now, Marusha is an amazing girl. At the time, she was 19. and she has cerebral palsy. So she uses this device to control a wheelchair and to control her mouse on her keyboard, on her computer. And unfortunately, her condition meant the spasticity in her hand got worse. So she couldn't hold it like this anymore, and that the slippery black surface just wasn't working for her. So she went to see her occupational therapist, and the occupational therapist opened a catalogue and prescribed her a solution that was going to cost $1,000, and she needed to be on a 6-month waiting list to get the funding approved to buy that modification. It was a new system. She would have moved away from using her hands. So we had a designer, a very talented human-centered designer, Kin. We had 3D printers, and we had Marusha, who knew exactly what she wanted. She said, look, my finger is perfectly fine. She's waving it around. Can you just make me something my finger can sit in? And Kin was like, yeah, totally. So they got some plasticine out, did a mold, whipped it up in CAD, and 2 hours later, they 3D printed it. It cost 37 cents in materials. This is it here. And it took two hours. And, you know, we were like, oh, that's cool. That's really cool. But she was like, no, guys, you don't understand. Like, now I can go shopping on my own. Now I can use my computer at full speed. And that was a really beautiful moment for everyone in the room. And we realized that we had stumbled across a perfect synergy between application and technology. And we continued to do it. We continued on with AbilityMate. So what we did is we open sourced this. So we made it available. There was nothing really that novel about it, so we couldn't patent it. But we put it out there. And then a few months later, we met a fella called Rick, who has an acquired brain injury. And he had a very similar problem. Although in his case, he had 2 working fingers. And because we had this version, we were then able to iterate and make it a 2-finger toggle, which cost 47 cents and took 2.5 hours. So he hadn't been driving his wheelchair independently for 9 years. Like, somebody else was driving his wheelchair for him, you know. So this is what we stumbled across. So I might just pass these around. You guys can just. Yes, and then Remarkable.
So we joined a Remarkable Accelerator program, which took us 16 weeks through weekly masterclasses to teach us how to bring this idea to life, how to commercialize at work, techniques to use to help bring this idea to life. We tend to like to say that we've spent 16 weeks in the washing machine, then turned around and trying to figure out what our focus is. I think when I first started off 3D printing everything for everyone. Once we've done a project for Marusha, we were like, hey, this is awesome, so let's just do everything for everyone. How cool would that be? But then we weren't able to find our focus. And through the Remarkable program, we were able to talk to experts and mentors who were able to talk us through the business and take us step by step through what to do, what strategy to apply, and how to do this and how to make this work. And we came to a massive pivot point when we had a mentor session up in Telstra. We were mentored by some of the experts in this industry. And we really spent one day just letting out what our focus is and what is it that we want to achieve. And through this day, we managed to narrow our focus down to AFOs, which is ankle orthosis, which is what the mouse body. So these are splits that kids wear on their feet to help them walk in some cases, and most importantly, helps keep their feet from going crooked. And a pair of this initially costed about $1,000, where it's quite a manual process at the moment with all the casting, and the authors have to spend over 120 minutes per appointment casting and grinding it to make it. And the problem is, because it's such to get a pair of verses, there's an over 12 months waiting list, and kids need a new pair before 46 months. So it defeats the purpose of having a pair, because by the time you actually get to the appointment, it's already deteriorated. And plus, when you are at the appointment, they make it 3 sizes bigger, so then you don't have to come back until another 12 months. And the problem is with this, it's like wearing shoes after a child's too big. It does more damage than good to a child. So we invented a digital baby.
Digital baby.
A digital baby.
Yeah, so I mean, we are working on, we're building on the work of some leading clinicians, but it's not widely adopted. We take a 3D scanner, we take a digital mold of a leg. With that scan, we then design it in a CAD software to an orthotic specification or prescription, and then we 3D print it. And you get massive results. Like we can make it in 48 hours. The casting process is actually quite distressing for kids, and it's distressing for everyone involved, the parents and the authors. So you avoid that now. You have a more user-friendly, better experience for everyone involved. It's much quicker. And then by incorporating the 3D printing element, we free up the author's time. So one of the biggest pain points and the reasons that this problem exists is because there's a shortage of skilled authorists. So that's our main focus, is how do we multiply these authorists. And yeah, our concept is our business model, and our business model is an authorist uploads a scan to our platform, and then on our platform we're sitting there waiting for them to come in at the moment, designing them and then 3D printing them. But in the future, the idea would be is the platform is the mediator, and we have 3D printing hubs that sign up, that are approved to make these things, that are safe. And if you have a 3D printer that can use the right materials, then you can get paid to make assistive devices. We're Uberizing assistive technology. So that's what we're going to be working on. But first, the first point of call is to get the 3D printing medically validated, tested in a lab. As soon as that happens, we will open source the IP. We'll put a license on it that is open but ethical, so you don't just get any cowboy making them. So we can decentralize the manufacturing of it. So there's this crazy stat that I got from 3D printing hubs, that there's 23,000 3D printers that are available right now, and more than 2,000 new 3D printers are being added to that map per month. Like, to us, this is an untapped resource, and the orthotics market is an underserved market, and the demand is exponentially outstripping supply. With an aging population, the demand is getting higher and higher. So that's, in a nutshell, our business model. We had to go, we're going through iteration after iteration, testing and validating. We're going through the design thinking process. We live and breathe it. We probably don't articulate it that much, but we do, right, Mel?
Yeah. Although what I love about it is, even though we've gone through all the brainstorming, all the ideation stage, we haven't lost our core value, which is human-centered design. And what I love, the best part about it is, through everything that we've done, we've always kept our users at the center of our decisions. So everything from whether it's kids who need AFOs or parents or authors, but always work closely with them to understand what their needs are and what their pain point is before we're calling to address to deploy, calling to say, hey, we have to solve your problem. Yeah.
That's right. Okay, so now I guess orthoses are just the beginning. When we develop the platform, the plan is to start making, back orthoses, neck orthoses, and then move into other stuff. So this is what we were working on before we decided to focus. And we have all sorts of things like arm splints, all different toggles. There's already open source designs out there for prosthetic hands, buttons, you name it, stuff that doesn't even exist yet. And hopefully we can fuel innovation so we can create a global commons of open source designs that can be produced locally on time and where they need it. So that's us. Do you have any final notes before we play a video?
No,
No?
I've covered it very well.
Cool. Okay, so now for the shameless plug. We're running a crowdfunding campaign that is a part of the ING Dream Starter. So we got to meet ING, Shannon is in the room, on our demo day at Remarkable, and it's been an awesome ride. So we partnered on a product launch that ING launched called Android Pay, and now we partnered on Dream Starter, and 8 days ago we launched the campaign. And yeah, we'll play a little video and you guys.
We'll just do a quick import change.
Okay. That's easier, isn't it? That's a handmade one. That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Daniel had a very difficult birth, and as a consequence, he got cerebral palsy. So it wasn't a big surprise to us when he hit 2 years old and still wasn't able to stand upright and walk unassisted. And it was at this point of time that Daniel's physiotherapist suggested that he would start wearing orthotics. Problem was that the hospital had over a year's wait list, and Daniel needed his orthotics straight away.
The current waiting list could take up to 8 months to get to see an orthotist. For some audit with a turnaround from start from casting to finish, it's around 12 weeks. It depends on the complexity of the clients and volumes of work we got.
AbilityMate is a new breed of business. It's a social enterprise that puts people first, not profits, that enables us to create open source designs for assistive devices needed by people all over the world.
AbilityMate is launching a groundbreaking initiative to help children with disabilities walk. We need your help to get our 3D printed ankle and foot orthoses medically approved and open source.
The new approach has the potential to be faster, more efficient, less distressing for the child. The technology has the capability to bridge that geographical divide and give isolated families access to the same opportunities.
Over the last 18 months, we've spent over 1,000 hours talking to people with disabilities, 300 hours talking to manufacturers and clinicians, 50 hours talking to funding bodies, including the NDIS, and we've had 8 co-creation events.
The new technology means that you can scan the limb just as it is, and then the technology combined with the expertise of the orthotist is what can create the right angle or the right degree of flexion and extension of the joint to then just manufacture without the stress and disease of traditional.
There is a groundswell of support behind this. ING Direct is helping to get the message out there, supporting this project with matching funding. But we need your help. If you want to be part of something positive, please help us. Help us donate, spread the message to your network, and help us reach our goal.
for the technology, for community.
For
families.
Cool. That's it. Josephine.
And you can watch the video at full volume when you go to the site to donate.
Oh, yeah. The more money you give, the louder.
We have t-shirts, earrings, maybe now? Sure.
Yeah, if you want.
Alright, so I'll move this back over to the middle. So has anyone got any questions? Dropped off.
What platform did you use to go open source to reach out to other people who could make these things also with you and also were experiencing the same?
Yeah. So we haven't got open source yet. That's what the funding's for.
Oh, right. Okay.
To put the right license on it. But we'll probably use some. We've been looking at Wikifactory, which is a great platform for open source hardware. We're looking into it. Or maybe we'll just develop something pretty low tech ourselves. But really, it's just going to start with a landing page, to be quite honest. But because it requires therapeutic goods administration, considerations, you got to be really careful about open source. We're big advocates for open source, but we do realize that could have secondary implications. So the funding will help us pay for a lawyer to develop something that is open. Close. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it can't be abused, basically.
Totally. Yeah. That spurs innovation but keeps people safe.
Right.
Yeah.
So if they're custom-made products that scanned specific for a particular person, and you're going to open source that design.
Yeah.
How adaptable are those designs to other people, or do they have to be somehow customized?
Yeah. So we can only open source a template. And we can open source the materials, the print specifications, tutorials on how to do it. And then eventually the idea is that we use generative design to automate it and to cut out the actual CAD designer. But that's super futuristic stuff. I only just found out about it yesterday. Yeah.
There must have been time when you thought, oh, we will not get there. No, that's not much part of the startup.
Yeah.
How did, because we are talking about design thinking here and not about the other element of a startup, how did the design thinking help you to refocus or to give you the element and strength to keep going?
That one?
Sorry, Mel, could you repeat the question? We can't hear that back there.
Yeah, so pretty much how did design thinking help you get through times of uncertainty in your startup where you thought we don't even have anything right now? Yeah. Is that kind of...
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you for relating.
What do you think, Mel? Do you want to answer that? Or?
Yeah. Okay. I think it's quite hard. It was quite hard to find a purpose, but I think every time I go back to our clients, we hear the same problems, and we hear the high demand and the same problems that each client having. And when we actually map out our pain points, it turned out that the pain points are the same areas, and I think that's elaborate enough.
Yeah, I mean, just kept going back to our community. What do you guys need? AFOs. What do you really need? AFOs, right? So just validating that all the time. And Yeah, and it got to a point where we really loved doing events where we were making, co-creating individual solutions for people, which we still do, but it's not scalable. We can't have the impact we want to have. And we had to let go of that, and it was really hard because that's how we started. We wanted to do that. We didn't want to go up the value chain to something like this, but we had to because we couldn't validate the other way. So we used that design thinking process just to validate it or devalidate it. So,
Yeah, and at the end of the day, our human-centered design principle brings it all. It all comes down to what our users want. Yeah, and what we need to.
And that's what they wanted. I mean, they wanted toggles, but it wasn't like a game changer for them. Like, buy some stuff around it. Cool. Any other questions? At the back, Tymon.
Yeah, I love it, guys. So cool. How quickly are you getting final products out to people? Are they coming out now? Where are you
Yeah. We made a breakthrough. We haven't invoiced an AFO yet. We've done trials with kids with CP, but somewhere floating around there's a little mini white AFO. And that was a recent breakthrough in the last 2 weeks, because we can get these things 3D printed, but they're still like $1,000. And
No, sorry. Just explain what an AFO is.
sorry, an ankle foot orthosis.
Yeah.
The leg brace. Sorry, it's lingo.
Magic shoe.
So we made a breakthrough the other day. So if anyone's got that little one, that's nylon. Yeah, that one there. So that's nylon 6 3D printed on a $400 printer brought at Aldi for $4 in materials. So that's in the lab. Like that's the thing that will get lab tested. So that's the closest we've got. So I think we're pretty close.
You're quite powerful if you get that printed on a very cheap printer. You're not just servicing people locally. You can actually use that as a business model to go to third world countries.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be the idea. Yeah.
Would you consider partnering with potential research organisations to one that only help you but also help fund it?
Yeah, so we've got a partnership with Prince Randwick. There's SOMI, the lab there, and we're going to be doing some testing for us.
What about funding?
That's what the crowdfunding is for.
That's where you come in.
Just a quicker way to get it.
Yeah. 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 If you know anyone else. Yeah, cool.
Are you the first one in the world? Because I've seen, I wonder if I haven't seen in a French newspaper one of the device that the item is shown, the one with the looks like a net, you know, like a cast for if you have a broken.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you mentioned it was Australia.
No,
I so are you?
I think there's
do you have
pockets.
competitors?
There's pockets of people doing it. I think our business model is unique, like how we want to scale it. A lot of these people aren't open sourcing it either. And there's a group as well doing the ankle and foot orthoses in the UK. But, you know, I think they're awesome. They've got great intentions, but they're not like just, they're kind of waiting to launch until it's perfect. So they're not really using that, you know, fail fast, test, iterate process that, like us as designers, not entrepreneurs, essentially. So yeah, there's other people, and there's a massive amount of collaboration. It's not competitive. It's a huge issue. You know, 1 in 9 people who need it are not getting it. So yeah, I don't think we're the first.
No.
Maybe.
It doesn't matter. The market is huge.
Totally. Yeah. Cool.
Maybe let's I'm a finance guy, and I thought that was a fabulously modest pitch for a splendid idea. So do go to the website. I personally wouldn't use the word donate. I think that's an investment where the return on investment is very, very clear. Think about the 37 cents in that first example it cost to give back somebody their mobility. Think about what that is worth to society in terms of the benefit of having that person more fully engaged. And that is just sensational return on investment for 37 cents, 1/10 of a latte. So I would definitely go there, support these people. They're doing fabulous things, and they're wonderful people as well. So thank you. So we're just going to take about a 10-minute break, and we'll just get these chairs lined up. But if you want to take a bathroom break, get through there, or if you want to get another drink, it's out the back.